As we begin today's show, engine 442 arrives at Bayshore train station as it's headed west to Jamaica train station near New York City. It has been coming from Montauk Point, headed west. Its major stops includes Babylon, Lindenhurst, Massapequa, and then takes a ride all the way to Jamaica Station, which is just outside New York City. 442 is pulling up right now, as you see the engine up close. The engine you see here that the Long Island Railroad operates is considered an EMD or a DE12 710 model. EMD standing for electric mode or diesel mode. The engine itself carries both ends of the train, but when it's at the rear of the train headed the other way as a caboose, the train operator operates the train from the other side where it switches to electric power mode, but still is pulled by the diesel that pulls the entire train. The cars itself are double-decker passenger cars. The diesel engine itself can go up to 3,000 horsepower at full throttle. Before 442 rolls off, train conductors make sure the platform is safe for passengers to get on and off. Then they radio to the train operator, giving them clearance that the train is ready to roll on. Just 5 minutes later, an eastbound train from the same train station, Jamaica, that goes through stops through Babylon as well, is coming eastbound to Montauk Point to stop at its final destination known as the station as Quogue. This number was 524 engine pulling up at Bayshore train station, once again dropping off and loading passengers before its final stop. The engine, again, is the EMD or DE 12710 model, as the one you saw earlier on. It's a diesel and an electric train all together. As you can see, as the train rolled up to the Bayshore station, you see the diesel end of it pulling the train out east. And welcome to my train set, folks. My HO train set in my own home. You can see the BNSF engine with the BNSF line passing through here with boxcar line. As you can see it rolling through the New York area. As I zoom out, you're also going to see the Conrail engine pulling the Conrail load, passing on my train set, which considers the upstate New York and Arizona side of things. Anybody a New York Giants fan? As the BNSF engine rolls on the outer track, you can see the Conrail line still coming through, where on the switch track, you see a Santa Fe engine getting ready to roll out the tanker freight, which carries gases, kerosene, and propane. Getting ready to go on the main line as the Conrail passes by. And here's the New York City subway train pulling up to Victoria Station as it's going to pick up passengers before it takes its ride under the Hudson into New York City. Of course, this train is battery powered, so I had to turn off the switch to make the train stop rolling here. With the little truck yard, you see a forklift here, loading supplies to a couple of Conrail trailers, as you can see with the arrows. In this scene here, you're going to see both trains rolling by again, but notice the little truck yard in the upstate New York yard over here. You can see the speedy truck and a line of trucks, and here comes both engines. With both engines on each freight line, I also have a caboose matching the front of the engines. Conrail goes with Conrail, BNSF goes with BNSF. With me, I'm such a big caboose fan, as you could see both at the end of the trains here. As you see the detailed speedy truck there as well. And you see the Conrail train making a right turn down there, as though it's going into Arizona. As you see the arrow there, told you I was a big caboose fan. Have a whole line of them in my yard. You'll see both trains going by again. Once again, the Conrail and the BNSF. This is the Arizona side of the train set, where I have both trains passing through the tanker yard, or I call the fuel tanker yard. The tin cans you see that are not completed yet are big, huge fuel tanks. And as you can see here, a little storage tank with different name brand company tanker trucks. I have Gulf Fuels, Getty, Hess, and whatever, all different types of names that go through the tanker yard. In this scene here, as you see the tankers all lined up in the yard, you see forklifts, payloaders, and what we call little barrier canister carriers, which are small Subaru vehicles that carry the fuel to the trucks and from the tanker cars. So this is my tanker yard. As you see, once again, both trains passing by. Here's another DE double-decker passing by with two diesels at each end. On a more clearer day, when I was actually waiting for a freight train to pass, engine 400 passes through Bayshore Crossing. I never got that freight train that day after waiting 3 hours. Blech. Now back to my train set. See this guy here? Yeah, see that? That's my 1977 engine, as it's getting ready to carry the gas and tanker line out of the yard, as the Conrail line is getting ready to do switchover into the tanker yard, which will be seen in a minute. But the tankers are getting ready to roll out of Arizona, going to upstate New York. As the yard switch was thrown, you could see the Conrail freight finally pulling in Tucson, Arizona after its very long ride from upstate New York. Now it's going into the tanker yard, where it will start dropping its payload, as the tanker itself, run by the 1977 engine, will be pulling out and headed back to New York. After its very long ride, engine 7483 Conrail is getting ready to rest after a very long ride, as she will be maintenance, refueled, and systems checked before she goes back all the way back east in another week. Meantime, a railroad worker is making sure a switch is put back in position so other freight trains could pass by on the main line. I know, folks. This guy does look a little pale. Hadn't had much vacations lately. Before 1977 goes off on its long journey, railroad workers are over-checking the engine to make sure everything is operational. They're checking air brakes to systems check to fuel to make sure the engine is running properly before its long journey. As you can see in the background there, 2 maintenance trucks, also disguised as Star Wars Empire detail. Those are the supply trucks for the 1977 engine, for 2 engines that I have. Meantime, another railroad worker is checking wheels, springs, air brakes, and every bit of the train to be fully inspected before the train is fully rolled off onto the mainline track. The process could take hours, even a full day sometimes, depending on how long the train is. But they will not let the train on the main line until it's fully inspected and everything is operational. Once the inspection is completed, a railroad worker waves a lantern to let the engineer know that it's all set to go on its long journey on the main line. And once again, here is a full view of the Mercedes detailed supply trucks, which are maintenance trucks for the 1977 engine. And here she goes, folks. The 1977 is finally on its way to its journey all the way out east to upstate New York as it's delivering its take-in-line shipments. Now you'll see 1977 go on its journey from different aspects of the table of the train set, as though it's taking its long journey all the way out east. On the 2 main lines here, the BNSF, Northern Burlington Santa Fe, as they are well known for it, will be passing by with the Tapa and Boxcar line, as the 1977 also passes by, still on its journey out east. Here are both trains again in a different view. As both trains pass again, I just hope the kids is really loving this show again, or any hobby fan that's out there that loves trains, or HO trains, Lionel trains, or D-size trains, or whatever letters they are out there. I just love to entertain and show the aspect of the detailed hobby I always love to do every day, so I hope you folks are enjoying the show. as we head back to the double-deckers, again, waiting for a freight train to pass by when I was in Patchogue, Long Island, New York, filming, here's engine 400 passing by, headed out to Montauk Point, leaving from the Patchogue station on eastern Long Island, New York. It was sure a very bad month for me to try to shoot a freight train. Just couldn't find any, besides the double-deckers. So, this episode was based on the Long Island passenger trains anyway. Speaking of the Patchogue train station, here is engine 420 pulling up, as it was a local train all the way from Montauk Point to Patchogue, then going all the way through Sayville, Oakdale, Great River, Islip, Bayshore, and then a long trek to Babylon Station where you transfer to another train to go to Penn Station, New York or Jamaica. This train was pulling up on time, on schedule, as I was trying to film out there that day. Being that this episode is based on the double-decker trains, here is the inside view of the double-decker cars. As the train was headed to the destination, I just happened to have a ride one day, passing the Sayville train station going home after I was doing a project out east, which was basically this episode, trying to film a freight train. So here's the look on the inside of the double-decker cars, being that we're on the subject of the double-deckers this entire episode. Back to the Tucson yard, as you see the John Deere tractors, they're getting ready to be pulled off on a crane to be put on a flatbed truck to be moved up on the farm. As you can see my second Storer engine there, 1978, and a Santa Fe engine that brought the car in as they're getting ready to unload the flat car. Here is the truck yard in Tucson, Arizona here on the Tucson side of the train set. And you can see a bunch of car carriers, trucks, box trucks. As the BNSF engine is waiting for the first load to arrive, it's going to switch to this line right here with the cabooses. It's going to take out the junk car line, as I call it, the junk car freight. And it's going to be on its way out back east to drop that line at another yard. On its third day on its long haul, 1977 is still on its way out east with the tanker freight. Here is engine 307 with a special delivery freight, a small liner that's headed to an airport on the East Coast in upstate New York, which is the same city that I have on the train set. It's carrying a special cargo, also carrying a strategic Air Force line and two tankers that is carrying jet fuel. The engine is a little behind schedule, so it's on its way on a rush route to try to get these tankers and that strategic Air Force command car to the airport as soon as possible. Here's 1977 and engine 307, all passing by. Once again, you'll see both trains passing by, 1977 and a 307. 307 is running late on its route, so it has to speed up to try to get to the airport on time. As you see 1978 in the distance, a little lit up there. Here's 307, really rushing that freight to the airport. The driver found out it's running really late now, so the train is just flying by. And once again, you'll see 1977 on its way still east on its tanker route. Don't mind the pile of light poles there, folks. The train set is still under construction as well, as I show this episode tonight. Escorted by the Tucson police, the tractors arrive at the Tucson farm in Tucson, Arizona, where it supplies pigs and cows that produce milk that turns into organic milk. Yes, folks, it's an organic truck. And the farm also grows some grains and wheat for the year to produce for the country. Running a half hour late, 307 has finally made it to the airbase with the well-needed supplies on the small line it was carrying. Here's the airbase of my train set, folks. Dedicated to my friends in Tucson, Arizona. The friends I served with out there, out west. This little airport I built here, which is not completed yet, is dedicated to all the friends I know out west who I served with in the past. And also being that's a Memorial Day weekend coming up, thank all the men and women in all services for their help. With the well-needed jet fuel that just arrived, here's a fuel truck with jet fuel, filling up an A-10 before takeoff, before it goes on a trial run. The airport will also carry a few passenger planes in the future, as I'm trying to get American Airlines and another airline onto the airport for future reference of the train set. The airport will eventually have runway lights, as I'm trying to find some rope lights at a store where I could make runway lights for the airport, which will be seen in the future as well. Okay, the BNSF engine is coming around with its second payload going back the other way. Here it is taking its freight all the way back up east again as it went west as the other train did. And you can see all the cabooses. Has a couple of stops on this route, so the train is going to change as you see in the next couple of videos. Here's 1978, still in the lot there as BNSF is passing by with the junk freight, which I call the cargo junk line. One 1977 still taking its long journey east, but it's almost there as it's finally making it into New Jersey. In the meantime, the BNSF cargo train is going to pass again, as it's going to look a little different after it made a few stops, dropping off a couple of cars and picking up others. It even picked up the flat car line, which carried the John Deere tractors. And it's on its way to another stop. Finally, after 4 days of traveling across country from Tucson, Arizona, 1977 finally pulls up upstate New York with its tanker freight. She'll be getting a very long rest now. She made it. There you have it, folks. My very first full-length train set show, and I hope you have enjoyed it. This project was not easy to do, but of course I do thank the Long Island Railroad for sharing their information and history with some of the trains that I've learned from them, especially with the double-deckers across the South Shore of Long Island. So I give credit to a couple of people, and from the Long Island Railroad, I thank them so much for all their support and advice and information that I used throughout this program. So I can't thank them enough for that. The project has not been easy. It took me about 3 months to complete. Could have been done sooner, but of course life got into a way, and there was a lot of problems along the way. I dedicate this show to my friend Lou Palmelli, who was also a big hobby guy. He loved trains himself, and a lot of this basically was his idea roughly for me to get into something that I would enjoy, because even for me, I always wanted to do something like this. But this show is dedicated to Lou Palmelli, and he's going to be deeply missed. He was a gold emblem of many friends I do know. But, this is a hobby that, basically is also considered my kids. And I do enjoy it very well. It's going to get a lot better. There's, of course, tons of other work we're going to do. In part 2 of the series, you guys will see it when it happens. But I have summer's work to do here, and hopefully I can try to film part 2 by the end of the summer. But I hope you guys did enjoy the first half of this. And there'll be more shows coming as the train set gets more built up and more detailed and more, hopefully, I'll, have the cities will be shown and everything like that. So, there's a lot of people that couldn't wait for this project to be done, and it's finally here. So, but I hope everybody enjoyed the show, and for those who love trains, I'll be doing this again. And next in part 2, you guys will be seeing some of the more of the city, more of the detailed vehicles, and once I have the telephone poles up, like post railroad crossings, which I'm still trying to get right now. Of course, if anybody has any hobbies like this, getting rid of railroad crossings, I'm also looking for HO car carriers, and definitely engines dealing with Conrail, Soul trains, CSX, BNSF or Santa Fe or Union Pacific, of course. Trying to put them all together. I don't know. I got so much stuff as it is, but there's still a few details I need out there. So if anybody could help, that would be great. Anybody who that are giving up trains, especially if the Bachman brand, I'd be surely appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Robert Flying Lightning Avella, and I hope you folks enjoyed the show. And you folks be safe out there, and all please have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. To all the troops that are out there serving this country, we cannot thank you enough for what you have done. You keep up the great work, and you will all be forever heroes to us. To my friends in Tucson, Arizona, who are all pretty much retired now, and to my shout to Davis Air Force Base, keep up the good work out there, boys. Let's keep those planes flying. All right, folks, until next time, all be safe. I'll see you soon.